And how's it going there, YouTube? Stampede Valkyrie coming back out here at you again. I'm going to apologize in advance if this video is kind of like out of order or wonked out. Most of this video was originally shot before Thanksgiving, except for this intro part here. And then my camera, as with all things tech, decided to completely flake on me, and I lost a considerable amount of shot footage. So I'm reshooting. Originally, this was going to be a first look video, as I did not know what I was looking at. However, now, hindsight, having to reshoot video that's lost, I know what this is. So in some ways that benefits you more than anything else. So what we're looking at here is a early JetSonic series bar. I believe it's a Model J, all amber. It does have some clear lights or clear takedowns, or not clear takedowns, clear segments in the middle areas there. But go up and get you to 360 as I reshoot this. Again, this was originally supposed to be a first look. From this point forward, I'm going to treat it as a first look. There's my disclaimer, though, saying that in the joys of all thing tech, you can never back your items up too much. I was able to save some of the video, but not all of it, and what you'll see is my train wreck as we move forward. So let's go with that. So looking at Federal Signal JetSonic Model J, I believe it's a Series B. It has no mirrors. It is not a smart bar. What is interesting, though, is it does have two strobe options there. So the only options that I see besides the 4 rotators, which is 2 and then 2, there's no alleys as we do a 360. No alleys, amber bar, nothing in the rear either. So just rotators in the rear, no strobe option. It looks like a half X mirror down here. That's on the inside for flash. And the same thing over here on this side. Now, like I said, I'm going to make this pretty short as we move on. I'm going to take this apart next, and I'll talk about the insides of the bar, and then I'm going to come back and I guess we'll hit it up, get it running, and see what it looks like when it's finished. But again, my apologies. This was supposed to be a Thanksgiving type video, and the joys of modern technology kind of crashed and burned that. You know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men get taken out by crappy tech. So, all right. Let's go ahead and get this apart. I'll talk about what I see on the inside, and then we'll move forward with a working version. And now with the innards or the top parts off, and me showing the innards, we're going to get a good overall look of what this light looks like. Again, as I come across here and you look on the inside, you can see this is definitely not the cleanest of interior bars here. I'm not going to go too much on it, but you can see there is some considerable amount of corrosion. There's a couple things that I'm looking at here too that stand out at me. First one, looking at this, is the mini C-clip is gone, which means that this entire light is going to pretty much flip on and off. I don't even know if it's on at this point. I have yet to power it on, but with the C-clip missing means that whole light just can pop straight off, which is interesting on these model bars. Here we have your primary wiring box. If this was a smart bar, we have our 2 strobe assemblies here and another one here, your Aero Twin / Aerodynamic Type 3 motor, late Twin Sonic 2 with the gearbox, J20 power supply, which I believe does work. It's a good question. We'll find that out here in a moment. And then coming across the other light, and you can see if we spin this, and before I get there, let's take a look real quick on the tag just to verify I'm saying right. Yep, Series J, Model B, volts 12. So it's a Series J JetSonic. This is not a smart bar. This is probably post smart bar, or somebody gutted it and turned it into something other than a smart bar. But as you can see, the insides are not exactly the mintiest fresh. It works, but it's not the mintiest fresh. But here we go. Here's your J20, and then strobe assembly, and then as we come across, another strobe assembly. There is a driver in here, and what I'll do is I'll get this up real quick, powered up, just to make sure it's working, and then I'll see if we can get a video of the whole thing spinning up. So bear with me a second here. I'm going to go ahead here and power it up to do it for a test, and then what we'll do is we'll slap it all back together and get an idea what it looks like. I have a feeling, though, that this rotator here, the rear one in the back, is going to be problematic. Doesn't have the C-clip. I have to take a look through my part bins. I mean, C-clips aren't really hard to find, honestly, but I gotta look, see if I can find one. It's possible, though, that bulb also gave up the ghost since it's currently sitting there hanging loose. But let's do a test on that and do an initial power-up test and see where we go, and then I'll throw the domes on it and see where we're at. So just a quick power-up. And it's pretty much as I expected. The center strobes are firing off. Not that you can see them very well because cameras and strobes don't work, but they are firing, so the center strobes work. The rotators, I guess, are working when they want to. Actually, no, looking at it again, the rear rotator on the left side is out. I'll take that out and see if it's a bulb issue. It is spinning at least. I don't really like that sound. Not a sound that I really want to hear too often. It's just the firing of the jet strobe. Never mind. The is spinning at least on that side. It is spinning on this side at least, so that means the light does work. I don't know what this flash pattern looks like, to be honest with you, but for the most part it's a working bar. I would actually consider this more of a parts bar though, just due to the interior condition of the light. If I came across one that was better, I would scavenge parts from this in order to bring it back. But the outer domes are actually in pretty good shape. Overall, in all, the light does in fact work. Again, it's a very odd strobe pattern now that I'm looking at it outside of the camera, where the strobe on the right fires more frequently, and the strobe on the left fires every once in a while. So you'll get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 strobes on the right and then 1 strobe on the left. And I don't really know if the camera's actually picking that up, but let's get the domes back on here, and we'll get going on the just to see what you guys can see what this looks like, you know, fully assembled. And we're back again, bars reassembled. As you can see, it's the amber, as I talked about before, mostly amber with some clear inserts. Let's get it fired up, and we'll take a look at it, and you can see what this looks like with the domes on. So as you can see now, the ambers are actually, or the amber filters cover the front outer rotators, and it looks like the clears are in a position where when the clears or the rear rotator flashes on each side, the clear is what you're seeing from there, minus the half X mirrors, which are on the inside. Now the strobe lights are going. It's just super hard to pick up with this camera, which is kind of a shame actually, because the strobe jet bars, well, not exactly my favorite. I actually do like the jet strobe bars, and then obviously the vintage legacy JetSonics with the strobe technologies. I'm hoping the camera's picking this up somewhat. I do kind of like the fact that the offset flash, there is no particular pattern on this light, just an FYI. The one thing I will say though is if you'll notice that as I talked about in my other video, or the other part of this video, the inner rotator on the passenger side was not working. As you can see, it's working now. A little bit of TLC. I still need to get a C-clip for that to lock that down. So for the time period, this will just sit in the back. I am happy though that this is definitely a nicer looking bar externally than obviously internally. I think it works pretty well. The flash pattern works pretty well, even for not being anywhere near synchronized, like totally guessed out, totally guess on this flash pattern. I think it does a job pretty well. So let's give you the 360. And they just got blasted in the face by a strobe light, and you can see obviously it's all amber jet bar. I like these bars. A lot of people say that I don't give these guys any love. I like them. It's just not, again, I'm an aerodynamic guy, not a jet guy. And as we're coming across, and that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I'll try to keep this. I don't know if this is going to come out in 2021. This one might actually get released in 2022, mostly because of the loss of some data, as I talked about before. But that's it. I just figured I'd just demo it and show what this bar is and go from there. All right, YouTube, if you followed me along this far, I appreciate it. And if this does come out before 2022 or just after the beginning of 2022, Happy New Year. Stampede Valkyrie signing off.